Hi, welcome everybody. I'm here with Erica Cochran from Pittsburgh. And Erica, thank you so much for joining me today on this podcast. What I'd like to do is to read your bio so that people can get a little bit of a sense of who you are and what you're up to in the world. With over 15 years of experience in the nonprofit field, Erica Cochran has a proven track record of building strategic partnerships and leading successful fundraising campaigns. She's passionate about empowering organizations to achieve their mission, specializing in donor relations and community outreach. She's known for her collaborative approach and strong relationship building skills. Erica is dedicated to advancing meaningful social change with a particular focus on causes that support women and girls. Welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us, why are you so all about women and girls? What's that about for you?
I think my journey in the nonprofit sector has led me to this point where I realize, how much, I don't want to use the word help, how much empowerment women and girls need in life and professionally. And my personal experiences and experiences of those I've worked with before have really just led me to be at this point right now where I'm just very passionate about helping women and girls.
And tell us a little bit about your current organization.
Yeah, I'm currently the Director of Development for Nurture PA, and we are a nonprofit organization that serves all of Southwestern PA, and our focus is on maternal and infant mental health. So we are a mentorship program. We mentor pregnant women and new moms with children under the age of 3. And we're just a supportive network for those who may be facing postpartum depression, or this is their first baby and they're feeling overwhelmed and they just need a little bit of support and guidance from another mom.
Oh, so you're matching up other moms with the new moms so that they can, get the support because the moms have already been through it maybe and, know what it's like to deal with postpartum depression and
that's our goal, is to make sure that everybody first and foremost is safe in the house, right? That they're very aware of their mental state and if they are or not okay. But the rest of it is really not to tell someone how to be a parent or how to be a mom, but really just to support them and empower them in their journey. Like you are the mom and you know what's best and you can do this, and really just uplift them as a mom.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think we used to have that kind of support, maybe 100 years ago or maybe even decades ago when we were living in a different community. But it's good that you guys are doing that and supporting the moms. So needed.
It is so needed. And we do it all via text message, which is really unique. I think a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around building a strong mentor relationship via text message. But we have the data and the surveys that show that is how women of this generation, moms of this generation, want and need to communicate. They are busy. They don't have time to get out of the house with the newborn and get coffee with someone or schedule a Zoom call or be on the phone without someone crying or asking for a snack. So this text message format that we've created really just helps meet moms where they're at and make them feel like they can take on this mentor relationship.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I can see that, it's a different generation, people on their phone all the time. Yep. Probably their confidant, their resource.
And they're more vulnerable as well. We've learned that it's easier to tell someone that you are struggling or that you think that parenting is hard or you feel maybe like a failure in that moment behind a screen. You're not talking to someone face to face. You've never met them face to face. It's just easier for them to be honest about what they're going through.
Cool. So, but if I wanted a mentor that, had a cup of coffee with me, is that possible as well? Or is it?
We encourage them to keep it digital. We do have mentors that once they graduate from the program, they've built such a strong relationship with these women over the last 3 years that they continue that. And they are more than welcome to do that on their own. We love to see that.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that's very exciting that you guys are doing that. We met just a few weeks ago when I was in Pittsburgh at a women's networking event. I'm curious to know what inspired you to come on the podcast.
Yeah. So the group that was meeting when we met is called the Pittsburgh Women's Group. And it's a group that started recently as an arm of the Pittsburgh Business Group. So it's obviously just for women. And what I love about this group is that it's not your typical networking group. It's not salesy. No one is standing up and giving a pitch. It's more about building a supportive network of women professionally who can help provide leads, help support, write references, really just be there for each other and create that supportive network. And what I've found since I've been in this maternal mental health field and this women-centered field in the last 2.5 years is not a lot of people are talking about what women need to succeed professionally. I think, everyone talks about, oh, women are so resilient and moms get things done. And, you hear those very cliche, typical
Mm.
things all the time about women, but no one is talking about why women have to be resilient, why they need a flexible schedule, why they need a supportive network. And everyone's just supposed to just get it done, right? If you're a woman and you're a mom, just power through and get it done. And I would love to hear more women talk about the systemic barriers that are there for us as women and moms and how we can help each other get past them.
Oh, that's so, good that you talk about that because I think it's so true. I mean, even for myself, it's like, don't get sick, don't miss a beat, just keep
Yeah.
going. And, we have that expectation of ourselves and I think society has also that we just need to keep going. And maybe even so in America, because it's different. It's a different culture and you have less vacation and you have even less time to really, nurture yourself and take care of yourself.
Yeah. And I just think it's important for women to see other women say that they struggle also, that they struggle with, building resilience and they struggle with getting it all done and giving 100% every day. Then maybe we won't be so hard on ourselves to try to be something that is just completely unrealistic every day.
So true. So how it's so true. It's like, I don't even know why we maintain that sort of impossible standard for ourselves,
I know.
really. So what are, I was in fundraising. That was actually how I started my career. And I thought it was brutal. Really a very harsh, very competitive field. I was also, I was doing development. I was in charge of special events and, 250 volunteers and corporate relations. So what kind of support do you wish was out there, for you or for people in your field also?
Yeah, I would agree with you. It's a hard field. It's a tough field to be in, especially here in Pittsburgh. We are inundated with nonprofits in our region, and we're all
Right.
fighting for the same dollars, right? But we're all doing great things. So what I wish there was more of is collaboration, because a lot of us are doing things that have a domino effect for another organization. And, we have organizations who are helping pregnant women. And then we have organizations like ours that see those women through age 3. And then we have organizations that help, children who are at elementary school age. And then we have mentorship programs for high school. And really, it all kind of adds up. Like, you can take a woman and her child from, pregnancy through college and support that woman and her child in a very different way, in a different capacity, but all the way through their lives. And I really wish that nonprofits were not so siloed in their mission and that they would work together a little bit more collaboratively, more of a handoff effect. And I think some are doing that. I think our organization especially has had some really great experiences with other nonprofits in the region who are looking to collaborate and work together. But I wish that some of the larger organizations would take on that model and we could work together to really create the ultimate goal, right? Is to create a happy and healthy community and have the people that are living in it lead a happy and healthy life. And I think more collaboration could definitely get us there.
I think you're right. And would be interesting to think about how that could happen.
Yeah, it's not an easy task.
No, it's not an easy task. What kind of ideas do you have for collaboration? How could that actually, I'm putting you on the spot, I know.
No, go for it.
Do you have like some ideas how that could happen?
Yeah. I mean, I have some ideas. I've read about other organizations that I think would be a really great fit for us to work with particularly. But I will say we've had a really good experience collaborating more recently with two local organizations. One is Beverly's, formerly known as Beverly's Birthdays, and the other is Maya Organization. And we recently just came together, the three of us, on a grant, a collaborative grant that we all wrote together, and we formed what is called the Triangle of Care. And I love that name because it's we each have a point of the triangle. We're each hitting, a part of the woman's journey of motherhood, and we're really taking care of the mom from pregnancy all the way through age 3. And we're taking care of mental health. We're taking care of her health and wellness. We're taking care of tangible needs such as diapers and formula and gifts and things like that. And that experience is really what has led me to like really be on this pedestal of collaboration, because I'm seeing how, I don't want to say easy because it was hard work for all of us, but it was easy to get into the collaborative mindset with these two other nonprofits. And we did it. It can be done. I just really wish that other nonprofits would take that model and run with it. So I think just finding the right organization that's going to fit with your mission. Not everything's going to be a fit, right? And recognizing that, but finding the right ones and collaborating when it comes to grants and funding and programming, really just making sure that everyone has access is really important.
Yeah, I think foundations would probably welcome that, right? If nonprofits team up on a grant, and if the community is being supported in a more sustainable, or even, let's say, even, for lack of a better word, better way, because now we're taking care of the physical needs, the emotional needs.
Yeah, and it's what I love about the triangle that we created is now these women do not have to go to 3 separate organizations during 3 separate stages of their journey and retell their story and go through it all again. We have their information, we know everything about them, and we're going to carry them through as far as we can. And we're removing a barrier for them.
Yeah, I love that. That's good, because I don't need a barrier when I'm a new mom and I'm already struggling, and I'm like,
no, especially if you're a low income mom, right? There's already so many barriers, that are standing in your way, and we want to remove those.
Do you know how many low income moms there are in Western PA? Do you have any?
I don't have a number. No, I don't know. I can tell you, how many moms we serve. We have that data, but as far as in the entire county, no, I do not know.
How many moms do you guys serve?
So we serve around, right now we're at like 425. So 425 moms. Yeah. And some of those moms have more than one child. So, usually they enroll with a child that they've just given birth to, but most moms have, maybe 2 under 2 or 3 under 2, or they're pregnant and they're ready to welcome their third baby, and they can stay in the program as long as they fit within that age range.
That's good. That's good that they have that continual support.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to switch a little bit and talk a little bit about what inspires you and, what keeps you going. If you would be willing just to talk a little bit about that. Because part of the podcast is to really dive into the ebbs and flows, the peaks and the valleys that we have, personally, and how do we navigate them?
Yeah. So I'm a mom. I'm a mom of 2. I have 2 daughters.
Wow.
They're 8 and 3, and they are truly the most important thing to me in life. And I'm really blessed that my current job allows me to there's not a lot of separation between work and my life, right? Because we're supporting moms all day. I'm a mom with 2 young ones, when I'm done with work. So it's really kind of feels like all day is just being a mom and dealing with mom stuff and motherhood. So they inspire me the most, because especially my oldest, who is 8 now, who really is starting to kind of understand how the world works, I want to make sure that I'm playing a part in creating, really safe space for her to be a woman when she grows up. And I think right now we live in a little bit of a scary time. And I think giving her the tools that she needs to be a resilient woman as she gets older, and just kind of being really realistic with her about the fact that she's going to have to work a little harder her whole life because she is a woman. And I think sometimes people say, oh my gosh, why would you tell an 8-year-old that? Don't put that in her head. But I'm a very realistic parent. I don't like to lie to my kids. I want to set my daughters up for success. So whatever role I can play, whether it's large or small, I want to look back on my life and say, I did what I could to make the world a better place for my daughters, who are going to be women.
Right. So how do you tell her that she has to work harder?
We talk a lot about, acknowledging the struggles that women deal with versus the struggles that men deal with, right? And, more recently, we were having a family conversation kind of about failing upward and how, and obviously I didn't use these words with her because she's 8. We toned it down and talked to her like an 8-year-old. But, that often, like, when a woman fails, you hear things like, oh, they couldn't handle their work-life balance, or they're unqualified, or they're not fit for the role. But, when a male CEO fails, he was innovative. He was such a risk taker, and
Wow.
studies show that men, they get another chance. Women CEOs, when they fail, they are 45% less likely to be given another chance. And I can't let my kids grow up not knowing that. I need them to be aware of the world that they're entering in. I need them to be prepared and armed with resources and to set themselves up for success. And it's not that I want to put any ideas in their head or make them think negatively about anything. I want them to know what's ahead of them. I don't want them to grow up and say, why didn't anyone tell me this?
My next question then is like, so how, I have 2 kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old. So how do we then, and I say so how do we tell our kids this is the reality?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, we encourage them, to go for it, because, I grew up with you're not smart enough and you need to work harder. And if you don't work hard enough, you're not going to, get anywhere, because that is a very negative message. And somehow we want to convey this, the reality and the data that you just shared with us, but do it in such a way that encourages them and inspires them, and not makes them feel like, oh my God, I shouldn't even try. And I just stay at home.
Yep. Exactly. No, you're exactly right. And that's something that I'm really specific about instilling in my kids, my daughters, like confidence. It's confidence. And telling them that it's okay to fail.
Mm.
Every day I tell them, just try. If you fail, it's okay. The world is going to tell you that it's not okay. Society is going to tell you that it's not okay. But you as a person need to be confident enough to know that it is okay and that you don't need to listen to society. So yes, I'm giving them the data and the facts and teaching them how the world is, but I'm letting them also know that that's not okay and it's not right. Just because that's how it is does not mean that you need to live an unhappy life or hold yourself back in any way, just because of how the world operates. That's not how we're going to do that in this house. We're going to be confident. We're going to make mistakes. And that's how you build resilience in kids as well.
Mm-hmm. And how's it going?
It's good. She's only 8, so we still are developing, as a person, as a human. Let's not even get into being a woman. So, she has her ups and downs, but what's really reassuring to me is when she says things like, that's okay, and brushes it off, or when she says things like, I tried, like that to me is like, she's listening, she's paying attention. She hears what I'm saying. Or it's okay to make mistakes, or she'll say something to her younger sister if she spills something. That's okay. We just clean it up. And I know those are small little things, compared to like the big scale things that we're talking about, but those things make me feel confident that we're doing a good job here. We're letting them know that it is okay. It's going to be okay.
That's really wonderful. It's a beautiful message to convey everybody. That it's so important that we instill confidence in our, children, our girls. I mean, I have a boy. My boy is 9-year-old. I mean, I think even confident men, if it's done in a holistic kind of way, not in a, egotistical.
Mm-hmm.
I look at that as that's really good, because then they're okay to fail and they're okay with who they are, and so then, when we're okay with who we are and we're confident, and it has such an incredible ripple effect.
Absolutely. And there are so many wonderful men out there who allow women to be better at them at things, and they're not threatened by that. And
Mm-hmm.
that just goes to show that's a confident man, right? That's a man who wants what's best for the organization, what's best for whatever project he's working on. And if that happens to be a woman, then great.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get yourself unstuck? What do you do?
Whew. Yeah. So that's hard, especially being in development for nonprofits. it's hard because I'm often a one-man show. And I don't mean that in the sense that I do everything myself, but I wear a lot of hats. I have a great supportive team, but you have to wear a lot of hats because you don't have a lot of resources in the nonprofit world. So I lean really heavy on my network.
Mm.
Something that I've really leaned into the last 2.5 years is mentorship, and realizing that I have a lot more mentors than I thought I had. Um, and I think mentoring is a great step towards like creating a community for yourself. So I think I've done a really great job building a supportive network, most of those being women that were in the group when we met. And really just, making sure that I surround myself with women who uplift me and support me. It's been really crucial for me when I'm going through a tough time, or I'm feeling maybe not so confident, or I sense a little imposter syndrome creeping in. I will lean on my mentors and my network, and it's been really, really great for me.
That's awesome. So you have a list of people you can call or meet with, or
Yeah, and to know who to call for what, right? If I'm,
oh,
thinking about if I'm having imposter syndrome, like who do I call? Or if I'm feeling, like I'm not confident enough to finish a grant, who do I call? These are all different people, right? There's so many people in my network that I can reach out to for different things, and knowing who's going to be there for me in that instant is really important.
that's sort of like how we manage our day to day. And then I think some of us, we have sort of like rituals or strategies that we deal with. I don't know how much you know about me. I work a lot with the subconscious and the unconscious, and, especially deal with the sort of like changing the beliefs that we have that run us, that keep us sort of, stuck in that sort of same paradigm. What are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you elevate the conversation that you have with yourself?
More recently than not, I have been really trying to not be so hard on myself and really allowing myself to be vulnerable. Um,
Hmm.
I think as a woman who was trying to be successful in a certain way, the past 15 years of my professional career, I was really hard on myself a lot. If I didn't reach the goal that I knew I needed to reach, or if I didn't get the job that I wanted, or, something didn't go my way, I was not good at being vulnerable. I was not good at asking for help. I was pretty tough on myself. So I'm trying really hard to have positive conversations with myself. Of course, again, leaning on that network that I have, and leaning on my friends and family, but really celebrating being vulnerable sometimes. Because I think that some people think that, you have to be tough all the time, and,
Hmm.
embracing vulnerability and asking for help and knowing when to rest. Those are all like really strong qualities. And if someone can do that easily, like I applaud them, because it takes effort on my part to know, okay, you know what, maybe I'm just burnt out this week. Maybe I just need to rest, and maybe this project isn't that important, or maybe it's okay to ask for an extension. And, women are not always good at doing these things because we
Hmm.
feel like we can't let up. We let up for 1 minute, there's going to be consequences to that. But we need rest too. And I'm trying really, really hard to be better about letting myself rest, taking on less, just allowing myself to be vulnerable.
I hear you. I think you can probably hear in my voice, sort of sick for almost 2 weeks. And I find it to be very difficult. It's okay for a few days, and then it just keeps lingering on. And I've been asking myself, why is it so difficult for us just to rest? And,
I know. Because we feel
and
like we're gonna miss out. I don't know if it's not missing out. I don't know. It's like feels like our success is gonna start to go backwards if we let up a little bit.
I don't know if I don't know that I would necessarily agree with that. It's just, it's so foreign, I think, for so many of us to, sit on the couch and watch Netflix for more than 2 minutes. It's not a muscle that I've exercised well. So I'm working at it,
It's hard.
and it's hard. And, I tell everybody I've been canceling more things than I think ever in the last 2 weeks. And it's a good lesson to learn, because every
Mhm.
engine, I tell this, I tell people you have to rest, and, the engine has to rest. And then do I do it? I do it to a degree. And then I think that's enough. I have to keep going. But this time I think I have to keep going for a little longer to rest.
It's hard. It's hard to rest, but it's necessary.
It's necessary. What else do you want to share with our audience, or, share about yourself?
something, I guess, something that we've been talking a lot about at the women's group where we met, and then also Brave Women Project, which is also something I'm a part of, is this idea of work-life balance. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone knows what that means, and everyone knows what they want that to look like for them. But I hate that phrase. I think it's awful because there is no balance, right? Being a mom of two who works full time, like balance is not a thing. Like some days my job requires 100% of me. So I have nothing else to give to anybody else. And some days it requires 50% of me. And other days my family requires 100% of me. So there's no balance there because the math doesn't add up. You can't give 100% of yourself to work and 100% of yourself to family or personal things. You have to prioritize. So recently we listened to a speaker in the group where we met, and she really talked about just prioritizing each day. Who needs me most today? What do I need most today? Who can I give all of me to or some of me to? And just making sure that we're realistic when we start the day about how much of ourselves we can give to others. Because going back to being burnout and going back to resting is, if we're giving all of ourselves to something else every day, what are we leaving for ourselves? Nothing. What are we leaving for our families? We get home and we have nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
So I have taken that to heart, and typically every day when I wake up, I look at my calendar and I say, okay, here's what I have to do today. Here's the really important stuff. And sometimes those really important things are work related. Sometimes it's taking the girls to the dentist, right? It every day it changes. It could mean something different. But making sure that I handle everything in an appropriate order and knowing when to stop. When I've given all of myself, if I didn't make it through that list, the rest of the list waits, right? Because I'm done. I don't have any more of myself to give. Do I do that every day perfectly? Absolutely not. Because like we just said, you push yourself as hard as you can sometimes, but
Right.
I'm trying really, really hard to just get that whole work-life balance out of my head and change it into more of a like prioritizing model.
Awesome. I would agree with you. I don't think there is such a thing as work-life balance. And if you define it, it's whatever it means to you. And there's this famous exercise called the Wheel of Life, and you fill it out in the different categories that you rate yourself. It's bumpy. It's a bumpy ride, so it doesn't mean that it's smooth. It's just like what's important. Where do I need to focus on? So it's you're absolutely correct in that, in that approach. And one thing I would, if I may, say is that I tell my clients, and you may want to play around with this for yourself, put only the things on your list that you're actually going to accomplish. Because then at the end of the day, you go to bed feeling confident that whatever you committed to, you can actually accomplish.
Yeah.
So, these little things that creep in our head about, maybe I want to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do this, and blah, blah, blah. It's just like they all just show up at the end of the day if we didn't accomplish them as little nagging, conversations in our head, like you didn't, and they undermine your confidence. So only put things on your list that you're actually going to do. And if that's one thing, like I'm taking my kids to daycare or whatever, that's it. Everything else becomes optional. You can still accomplish those items. Just don't write it down.
I love that. I think I'm guilty of always writing too much down because then I have the hope that I'm going to get more done than less. But
Nope.
That's probably not the way to go.
Nope. We have
I
an
love
automatic little something in our head that keeps track of whether we keep our commitments, including the ones that we make with ourselves and the commitments that we make with others. Really, I commit to the things that I know I'm going to do, and the other things they're optional, and then they're not on the list. They may be in a holding pattern somewhere.
I love
which
that.
is okay.
Yeah,
So, see
that's
what
great.
happens when you do that.
I'm gonna steal that from you.
No, please, by all means. Awesome. So we're about at the end of the podcast, and I wanted to know if you had a favorite tip or a quote that you wanted to share with people, anything of that nature.
I don't have a quote, but I do have something that I've been trying to get across to most people I talk to, and whether that's people that I'm trying to, engage with Nurture PA, my organization, or it's just women that are part of any of the support groups that I'm in. But recently we were just talking about like kind of the ripple effect of empowering women.
Okay.
And I bring that up in the sense of the organization, because most people who don't have small children, they don't see the importance of supporting moms who are then can nurture their babies. So this is kind of where that came from is, there's a broader societal impact of empowering women, right? And how it leads
Yeah.
to positive changes in various sectors, right? Such as business, education, social justice, and really understanding where you fit in that ripple effect, right? Are you someone who can be a mentor? Are you someone who needs a mentor? Are you someone who can support an organization that empowers women, right? Finding your right fit in that, but finding a place, because we all should probably have a place within that effective power empowering women, because it all makes a difference in the end.
Very well said. So true. So those of you listening, figure out where you want to play and how you want to make an impact, so that you can have a ripple effect in somebody else's life and organization lives and in your own, because we know when we make a difference in other people's lives, makes us feel good about ourselves.
Absolutely.
So with that, Erica, thank you so much for joining me today. And we're going to have all the info about you and your organization in the show notes. And I wish you all the best for what's to come and the difference that you're going to make in your life, your girls' life, your organization lives, and your communities.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Take care.
Hi, and here are my takeaways from my podcast with Erica. Number 1, develop a supportive network of mentors and peers to lean on during challenging times. Number 2, practice being vulnerable and asking for help when needed, recognizing it as a strength rather than a weakness. Number 3, prioritize tasks daily based on what and who needs you most, including yourself, rather than striving for an unrealistic work-life balance. Number 4, only commit to tasks you can realistically accomplish each day to maintain confidence and avoid undermining yourself. And number 5, instill confidence in children by teaching them it's okay to fail and encourage them to try, while also being realistic about societal challenges. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care.
All right, action takers, as we wrap up today's episode, I want you to know that I believe in you. Each of you has the power to create positive change in your life, no matter where you're starting from. Remember, it's okay to take small steps. Every bit of progress counts. And the sooner you can take action, the better, because your saboteur loves to create doubt and confusion. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what I'll ask of you. Like, subscribe, leave Apple and Spotify ratings and reviews, tell a friend, and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you love. Your support helps this message reach more people who might need to hear it, especially right now. I'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode to support you on your journey. Until then, this is Dr. Barbara, reminding you that you're worthy of an extraordinary life. Be kind to yourself as you work towards your goals, and remember, I am rooting for you every step of the way.